Hello friends, today we are going to do chapter number 6, Children of India. They pass me every day on their way to school, boys and girls from the surrounding villages and the outskirts of the hill station. There are no school buses plying for these children. They walk, many of them. It's a very long walk to school. Ranbir, who is 10, has to climb the mountain from his village 4 miles distant and 2000 feet below the town level. He comes in all weathers, wearing the same pair of cheap shoes until they have almost fallen apart. Ranbir is a cheerful soul. He waves to me whenever he sees at my window. Sometimes he brings me cucumbers from his father's field. I pay him for the cucumbers. He uses the money for books or for small things needed at home. Many of the children are like Ranbir, poor but slightly better off than what their parents were at the same age. They cannot attend the expensive residential and private schools that abound here, but must go to the government-aided schools with only basic facilities. Not many of their parents managed to go to the school. They spent their lives working in the fields or delivering milk in the hill station. The lucky ones got into the army. Perhaps Ranbir will do something different when he grows up. He is yet to see a train, but he planes flying over the mountains almost every day. How far can a plane go? He asks. All over the world, I tell him. Thousands of miles in a day. You can go almost anywhere. I will go round the world one day, he vows. I will buy a plane and go everywhere, and maybe he will. He has a determined chin and a defiant look in his eye. Up to a few years ago, very few girls in the hills or the villages of India went to school. They helped in the home until they were old enough to be married, which wasn't very old. But there are now just as many girls as there are boys going to school. Bindra is something of an extrovert, a confident 14 years old who chatters away as she hurries down the road with her companions. Her father is a forest guard and knows me quite well. I meet him on my walks through the deodar woods behind Londor. And I had grown used to seeing Bindra almost every day. When she did not put in an appearance for a week, I asked her brother if anything was wrong. Oh, nothing, he says. She is helping my mother cut grass. Soon the monsoon will end and the grass will dry up. So we cut it now and store it for the cows in winter. And why aren't you cutting grass too? Oh, I have a cricket match today, he says, and hurries away to join his teammates. Unlike his sister, he puts pleasure before work. As winter approaches and the days grow shorter, those children who live far away must quicken their pace in order to get home before dark. Ranbir and his friends find that darkness has fallen before they are halfway home. What is this time, uncle? He asks. as he trudges up the steep road past Ivy Cottage. It's dark at 6, and by then Ranbir likes to be out of the deodar forest and on the open road to the village. The moon and the stars and the village lights are sufficient, but not in the forest, where it is dark even during the day, and the silent flying of bats and flying foxes and the eerie hoot of an owl can be a little disconcerting for the hardiest of children. Usually, Ranbir has the company of other boys, and they sing most of the way, for loud singing by small boys will silence owls and frighten away the forest demons. One of them plays a flute, and flute music in the mountains is always enchanting. Not only in the hills, but all over India, children are constantly making their way to and from school in conditions that range from dust storms in Rajasthan desert to blizzards in Ladakh and Kashmir. In the larger towns and cities, there are school buses, but in remote, rural areas are getting to school can pose a problem. Most children are more than equal to any obstacles that may arise, like those youngsters in the Ganjam district of Odisha. In the absence of a bridge, they swim or wade across the Dhenai river every day in order to reach their school. I have a picture of them in my scrapbook, holding books or statues aloft in one hand. They do the breaststroke or dog paddle with the other, or form a chain and help each other cross. Whenever you go in India, you will find children helping out with family source of livelihood, whether it be drying fish on the Malabar coast, or gathering saffron birds in Kashmir, or grazing camels or cattle in a village in Rajasthan or Gujarat. Only the more fortunate can afford to send their children to English medium, private or public schools. And those children are really fortunate, for some of these institutions are excellent schools, as good and often better than their counterparts in Britain or USA. Whenever it's in Ajmer or Bangalore, New Delhi or Chandigarh, Kanpur or Kolkata, the best schools set very high standards. The growth of a prosperous middle class has led to an ever-increasing demand for quality education. But as private schools proliferate, standards suffer too, and many parents must settle for the second rate. The great majority of our children still attend schools run by the state or municipality. These vary from the good to the bad to the ugly, depending on how they are run and where they are situated. A classroom without windows or without a roof that lets in the monsoon rain is not uncommon. Even so, children from different communities learn to live and grow together. Hardship makes brothers of us all. The census tells us that 2 in every 5 of the population in the age group to 5 to 15, almost half our population, is on the way to school. And here I stand at my window, watching some of them pass by, boys and girls, big and small, Some scruffy, some short, some mischievous, some serious, but all going somewhere, hopefully towards a better fortune. Friends, this interesting story is written by Ruskin Bond. Thank you, friends.